Yeah. All right, we are going to roll right into our next media availability. We are now joined by our Daytona 500 pole winner, Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford. If you have a question for Joey, please raise your hand. We will start right up here with Jacob.
Jacob Silman, Race Face Digital. Joey, I think the obvious, how big is this for Ford as as a manufacturer after basically a decade of the bow ties kind of showing everybody the way on Wednesday night here in Daytona, for you guys to lock out the front row like this?
Yeah, it's about time, huh? It's a really special pole. This is something that, as a team, this pole is talked about more than any other racetrack we go to. And a lot of it's because you eliminate the variable of the driver. And I know I'm up here talking. I shouldn't be the one talking about it, because those guys are the ones that really gave me the race car I needed, to go fast. And, they massage on it, they work on it. This is a very, prideful pole to win for not just Team Penske and the 22 team, but for Ford and for Roush Yates. And, when you see both those Fords in victory lane, damn right you should beat your chest a little bit. It's something you should be very proud of. I was a lucky jockey that was behind the wheel, really. They got to drive that one today. So it's neat. Obviously, it's really cool to start on the front row, for the Daytona 500. Never done that before, never been even close. So this is something really neat to be able to experience. And if you believe in momentum, I'd say over the last the Clash running really well, and then here coming out of the gates fast here today, the momentum is building back up in the 22, which is nice.
Years past, maybe you look at the pole and it doesn't necessarily mean anything for Sunday because you can win from anywhere here. But given some of the challenges we've seen with the next gen as far as passing in the draft, is this a case where perhaps qualifying up front does mean a little bit more again because it's harder to make those moves?
I think it helps on some things. When other drivers see that you have a fast car, I really think that speedway racing is all about reputation. And if you have a fast car with a driver that understands the draft, cars will go with you more often. And, it makes you more confident to put this thing out in the wind. It's going to pull a lane. It's got the speed that you put it out front. It's going to tote the lane forward. That's what you want. And so as a driver, it puts you in a pretty good spot. When I got the team that I have behind me, with the spotter, with Coleman, myself, understanding the draft really well. Our pit crew seems to be lights out right now in practice. Things are looking really good. So we just got to go out there and execute our job at this point. We all know how to do that, but we got a good bullet in the chamber right now to fire away and see what we got.
All right, we're going to go to Bob Pockris and then Lee Spencer.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. You don't seem to be a guy who would like to kind of lay back and just protect your car. So how do you approach tomorrow night?
Yeah, it was a 2-second conversation in victory lane a minute ago with Paul. So we're racing, right? Yeah. I said, okay. So the good thing is Paul and I both have the same approach to speedway racing, where we're going racing. And something happens, but, it's not worth wrecking it. But you have the same attitude whether we qualified 5th or 15th. You don't want to go to your backup car no matter what you do. But I want to make sure my car's driving good. We got the new Dark Horse Mustang that obviously goes fast by itself, but we want to make sure it's tuned in right. I want to make sure I got everything out of it. So, we'll go out there and be smart, but we're going racing. There's a trophy, there's 10 points. We're going racing.
Lee Spencer, catchfence.com. Given Doug Yates' power and your skill at this style of racing, you're not surprised that you finally won the pole here, are you?
Considering it's my 16th try, my expectations weren't really high today. But we've progressively gotten a little better at qualifying last year. And it seems like with the next gen car, there's, I guess, a little less tricks and things like that the other teams were able to do over the years that like really put them up there. So it seemed like that got a little closer. I do think Roush Yates' power thrives at speedway racing. That's probably their strongest point. So yeah, I'd say this is kind of the wheelhouse. And with the new body, we didn't really know, right? I mean, it's kind of like, hope we got it right. But, obviously they had some speed here. And the field's so close, right? It's not, everybody's kind of right there. But, yeah, it's nice to do it. I was a little surprised to answer your question. Yeah. But once we started going to the second round and, no one was really, picking up a whole bunch outside the 34, I thought, man, we really do have a shot at this. So that was cool.
And your disappointment of last season has been well documented, going out in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, you've said time and again. Did you guys kind of come into 2024 with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? I mean, you feel like you got something to prove that you do deserve to be back on top?
We're a pretty tough team and an experienced team that's been around for a very long time at this point. I've been through, kind of down points in my career before. Doesn't make it hurt less when you're going through it. But I also know that a lot of times, more times than not, when we have a off year, the next year is pretty damn strong. And so I feel like, we can do that again. And that just shows the mental toughness from our whole team that we can, continue to stick together. We didn't change anybody on our team this year from last year. But I really think as a team, we grow and, we got better and better towards the end of the year last year. Nobody sees that because you're not in the playoffs, right? But we were making gains, which is good. And then, you have a moment where it ends and the misery is over and you get a fresh start. That's where we're at now. So that's what it's all about in life. It might be on my third or fourth chance, but it's working pretty good.
All right, Jordan Bianchi.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Was Chevy's pole streak something that Ford talked about a lot?
The whole sport talks about it, right? I had the TV on before we went and qualified, and that's what they're talking about on Fox was, what was it, 7 straight poles or, 7 years in a row. The 48 car was up there, and all this stuff. And it's like, geez, like some of those stats are unbelievable. Like you can't even I didn't realize all that was happening. I just got used to what it was, but I didn't think it was for that long. So, yeah, it's nice to be able to break their streak. It's something that it's an incredible run that they were on. Glad we finally caught up.
Do we have any final questions for Joey? We'll come right back up here to Jacob.
Joey, you look at the last now, I guess we're about 9 months here, going back to last May. Newgarden wins Indy. Blaney wins the Cup Championship. Roger just got the Rolex last month here. You're on the pole for the Daytona 500. It just feels like right now there's a lot of magic going on in that building. Is that something where you guys are feeding off some of the other parts of the organization where you each one gains momentum from the other? Or is it just one of those things where you look at it and go, damn, this is pretty cool?
There's not a cooler race team that you can work for when it comes to, just motorsports in general. Like, where else? There's not another motorsports team in America that is decorated as much as Team Penske and what Roger Penske has done. Whether it's in NASCAR, sports cars, Indy cars, you name it. The guy's been involved in all of it, and the one thing that's in common with all of it is he wins. And that's where I want to be because of that reason. Right? The guy wins. He does it right. He's professional. There's no corners ever cut. And I think a lot of times we don't talk about it enough. Maybe because I'm inside the company and I see how incredible it is. But it is something that is truly spectacular when you look at, the 58 years or so it's been, and the accolades that have been produced in that place is just it's bonkers. So this is actually one of the first here today. We've Roger Penske's never gotten a Daytona 500 pole, so not very often that you can actually do something for the first time for the captain, but we were able to do that today, which is special. Don't get me wrong, it's really, really special, but it's an incredible place with great people and, guys that all have the same mindset that just want to win at all costs, want to win. But we're also going to do it in a very professional way because we're representing somebody that is probably the most professional person you've ever met. I talked to him in Victory Lane, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any final questions? All right. Thanks, Joey.
All right. Thanks, guys.